Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the One Meal Channel. I am your host, Nathan, and today we are making a 3-pound meal and consuming it all by ourselves. It's probably enough to feed a family of 3, but we only eat 1 meal a day, and so that is what it takes to hit our calorie requirement for the day. We have people from all over the world tuning in, people from Canada, people from Greece, people from South Africa, and people who are not from those places tuning in to what we are doing here in America. And if you want to enjoy this video as much as I enjoy making them, grab yourself your favorite beverage. Mine is chicken broth, and let us have a sip with one another in celebration of another near daily upload. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, the stove is already running. We have our coconut oil in here heated up and ready to go. And instead of starting out with our potatoes like we usually do, we're going to switch it up and we're going to go in with some chicken. So I ran out of my typical, let's say, rotisserie chicken that I usually have. And so instead, I picked up some chicken tenders from the store. Now there's a little bit they're still a little bit frozen, but they've thawed out for the most part today. I'm not too concerned about it. There's about 3 pounds of chicken in this little batch that I have, and each pound is coming out to a price of only $2, which is about even with the rotisserie chicken price. So we're going to test this out. Tomorrow everything will be fully thawed, so do not give me too hard of a time. We want to get a video out for you guys. We can't have everything be perfect. If everything was perfect before I started making a video, no videos would ever come out. So we're just going to take some time to cut the ends of this, keep some larger chunks. We have our oil at kind of a medium heat right now, medium low, so it's not sizzling. We're going to put this in so everything gets nice and thawed, and we're going to have a nice even cook all the way through. And since this is raw, rotisserie chickens are cooked. Since this is raw, we're going to put this in first. And we're probably going to wipe off our cutting board as well, so that we don't get any cross-contamination with the potato. We're going to wait for all of this to cook through in the pan, and then we will add our potato on top of it. So this is quite a lot of chicken for one, so I might actually not even add all of this. This looks like about the amount of chicken that I want to use. This little bit that's left over. Again, it's about 3 pounds of chicken that are in there. We want about an equal pound every time we use this. Our eyeball measurements are usually pretty good, so I'm not going to be too concerned about getting that wrong. But hey, if you're new to the channel, I make just about the same meal every single day with some slight modifications here and there. We just kind of have like a chicken egg fried rice. Try to have 4 to 8 eggs a day. And so yeah, you're watching us do that today. Kind of more, sometimes I have more conversations with our audience. They have questions that I want to respond and answer to. But today I'm more so focused on just trying out this new technique with the raw chicken and seeing how far we can go. Because if the store continues to sell these little chicken tenders right here, then that might just be my new process for this meal moving forward. I'm going to start increasing the temperature. You know what? I think these individual turns are just not going to work out. Let's see if a spatula works a little bit better. Let's put some garlic salt on this. Thoroughly season this chicken. And we'll put some pepper on top of it. Okay, I just cleaned the stovetop, and I'm already making a mess. Let's go over here. The downside of using these chicken tenders is that I will have to buy either my chicken stock separate, I'll need to stop making it on my own, or I'll have to find a place that sells chicken bones or use beef bones instead, which again, is not a big deal, but I live in a small town. We don't have a whole lot of, let's just call it specialty stores. I could go to a butcher, of course, to get beef bones. But again, I like using the chicken, and I doubt I'll be able to find something specific at like the Walmart or the other supermarket that's in town. But we'll see. I have plenty of chicken left over, chicken carcasses left over for what's remaining. Excuse me, for next week's chicken broth. What I'm having right now is the absolute last of it. So I'll make some more either tonight or tomorrow morning in preparation for tomorrow's video. I haven't been completely honest with all of you viewers. I have 2 cups of rice going on here in the background, but I got started before the video even was recording. All right, well, let's take a look at this. As you can see, a lot of moisture is coming out of that chicken. So much so that I doubt that I'll be able to cook all of that moisture off. So when the chicken is cooked thoroughly, without that pink spot in the middle, I'll probably strain the chicken, dump all that moisture into the sink. Put the chicken in a plate with a little towel to dry them out. And then we'll put our potato in its place. Clean off our cutting board. Place it back on our surface for our potato. Ooh, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake that I just made. Forgot to clean off the knife. That's really gross, actually. We're just gonna throw this potato away. It's probably fine, but that is genuinely pretty gross to think about. So let's go over here, clean off another potato with our new clean knife, ready to go. I'm not gonna lie to you, I almost just lopped my fingertip off right there. I'm leaving the top off because I do want this moisture to evaporate as much as possible. And it is evaporating. Everything smells good as well. And I like that there isn't really, doesn't look like it's making too much of a mess. There isn't too much splatter, even though I'm cooking at a relatively high heat for the oil that I'm using. Let's finish up this chicken broth. Seriously, chicken broth is, when I drink it, I feel like it cures diseases. This broth that I made was kind of a thinner broth. It really is more of a broth than a stock, because a stock is just so much thicker. This really was more of just like a broth. And I gotta say, I like this stock better. Stock has more oils, it has more fats, and that's really what I'm after. I'm after those oils and fats. Regardless, the flavor is amazing, but I just feel like I'm getting more nutrients from the oil and fat that I use. So clearly we like to test things out on the channel, but typically only one change at a time per meal, and immediately you can tell that this chicken is much higher quality than the rotisserie chicken. It also takes 4 times as long to cook. I mean, it's been about 10 minutes already, maybe even longer, and I can still tell that the inside of this chicken is pink. You know, it looks like it's cooked all the way through. That side's pretty good, but the other side is pink. And we do not want pink chicken. That will continue to cook, so I'm not overly worried about that. And since most of this moisture has cooked off and what's left is just the oil, I will just move in with the potato. I'm also going to start with the soy sauce early so that I can get into the chicken. And when we add the rice in at the end, we'll add the hot sauce. So again, we'll cook this. We'll keep the high heat on. Keep the lid off, so this can continue to cook off. Long-time viewers know my personal goal is to try to just use one pan, cook with one pan as often as possible. When we were cooking our rainbow trout, we obviously departed from that. Our Christmas rainbow trout video, which was awesome, by the way. And when we cook with rainbow trout in the future, we will depart from the one pan. All right, but if we're meal prepping, and we're just essentially going to put all of this into the same container with itself, we don't really need to worry about separations of power, keeping these cooked in a different format. Just throw it all in with itself. These onions are pretty large. You really only need half of one. The onions are just so good for you. Well, I'll eat many of them as possible. I've loved onions ever since I was a kid. Very strange, I think, is it technically a fruit, not a vegetable? And it's a very strange thing for a kid to like, is onions. But I did like it. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. This is great. And I'm not too worried about, all that moisture, because the rice is just going to soak all of that up. Speaking of, the rice is just completed, which is great. I put 2 cups of rice, not because I'm going to add 2 cups of rice into this meal, but because I'm going to put 1 cup in and then save the other half for tomorrow. 1 cup of uncooked rice turns into about 3 cups of cooked rice. There's going to be about 3 cups of cooked rice in here, plus everything that you see today. About a pound of chicken, 1 medium-sized potato, 1 large onion. A medium onion will do just fine. Honestly, a medium onion is probably better. And then I'm going to add 4 eggs in on top of the rice that we have. And that'll be about it. We'll put that into a bowl, we'll weigh it, because every day, I used to do calories, I used to do macros, but they were just showing up to be more or less the same every single day. It's 2,000 calories a day, give or take about 200 calories. And if it's 2.5 pounds of total weight, we know that we are hitting what we need calorically for the day. Yeah, if I'm thinking creatively about those chicken tenders, I think those would also be really good to be breaded and fried. And this coconut oil, I can see it being some pretty good fry oil as well. So here we are. We'll add the onions in. These onions will sweat. I like onions with a little bit more crunch. I don't want them to get super soft. So I'm going to turn down the temperature just ever so slightly. I'm still cooking at a pretty high heat for this oil, all things considered. We'll stir this around equally. Get all of this to sweat together. And take this chicken, and I have no doubt that it's thoroughly cooked now. Ooh, almost lost that. But I just want to test it, just in case. Yeah, that's nice. Yep, that is nice. Good. Again, it's not dry. That's probably the most important part. That chicken is not dry. Yeah, and I was eating, I wouldn't call it a thin piece, but one of the thinner pieces of everything else that's out there. I mean, we have pieces that are twice this thickness getting cooked. So, yep. That's really good flavor. Yeah, and not dry. Yeah, and I was considering draining everything and setting the chicken off to the side, but I'm glad that I didn't do that, because all of the moisture that remains and the oil that remains is cooking what's in this pan very well. And you can see there's not a whole lot of residual oil at the bottom either. It's coating everything in here really well. And now that I'm looking at it, I could have had some less onions, of course. The onion potato Chicken ratio is way off, but I could have done with that extra chicken. Instead of holding off on that chicken that we were looking at earlier that I cut up, we could have added that in there. That would have been really nice. We'll weigh this at the end and see just how much food we're left with. Alright, so let's take about half of this rice. That looks good. That looks good, my friend. Perfect. That'll come in handy. And then let's take our fresh eggs. So we got 4 large eggs that we're going to use. Let's see what we can do with them. Heard somebody say in the last video that it's easier to break if you use a flat surface. It is, but I just made like a big mess over on the cutting board. So yeah, you're not wrong. It is easier to crack than on the edge of something, ironically. But I'd rather make a mess on the edge of my pan, which I'm going to clean anyway, than on the side of the cutting board that I really didn't need to clean until now. Okay, so usually I use a spatula for this, like an actual spatula. But we've been getting by with this little rubber spoon, so let's see if we can keep this up. And again, turn the temperature up. Need this egg and the rice to mix well. Yeah, and look at that come together. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Turn the temp back down again just a little bit. Because it appears that this is all cooking together really nicely. I'm going to flatten the bottom, flatten down the base, just to allow it to get a little crispy. We got the windows open today, so you're going to hear a little bit about what the outside has to say to us. Well, that crisps up. Let's clean up our surrounding areas a little bit. Gosh, I think it is the hottest day of the year so far. And, you know, for you that live in really hot areas all the time, this is probably nothing. It's probably in the 80s, you know, maybe extremely low 90s, but probably in the high 80s. And gosh, I am beat. I mean, to be fair, I am still wearing a hoodie, but I got shorts on. You guys never see my shorts, so I'm just exhausted. I'm just absolutely freaking exhausted. But I'd be exhausted whether I had the hoodie on or not. I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to know what I'm saying, but it's a light hoodie. Does that make sense? It's a thin hoodie. It's like something that you would wear, like this is something that I would wear to go out jogging so that the sun didn't like burn me, right? So we have all the windows open in the house right now, and I'm just cooking right now. It's actually not that bad. My body's just not reacting to it well, for whatever reason. Okay, well, surprisingly, we actually put this together pretty quickly, all things considered. You know, we've had videos that have gone, you know, almost to the 40-minute mark, trying to put a meal like this together, and that was with our rotisserie chicken pre-cooked meat. So, I say that we are probably ready to serve. We'll get this served and weighed, and then off camera I will take the leftover rice that we have, not the leftover rice in here, but the one inside of the rice cooker, and I'll set that aside for tomorrow. So here we go. Oof. All this food is heavy in here. I remember when we were using the we were using the pan that could stick, the non-stick pan. And that, I mean, this is about 3 pounds of food. It's at least 2.5 pounds. So 2.5 pounds of food plus however many pounds that pan was in my left hand. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, and I'm not jacked by any means, but I'm not a weak guy. That was a wrist exercise I was not looking forward to every day. And it was every day. So, we got our fair share of things to clean up when we're done eating. I just cleaned the countertops like less than 24 hours ago. So we're going to be a little bit selfish here. Let's take this weight. We have pounds. Let's zero it out. So we're not weighing our bowl along with it. Our bowls are heavy in and of themselves. Let's get this on. Yeah, 3 pounds. What did I tell you? 3 pounds of food. 3.08 pounds. So I did say that I could have a little bit more chicken than usual. But honestly, I think that is perfect. Usually, if I have, 8 to 12 pounds of chicken, the meal will come out anywhere from 2.5 to 2.7 pounds. If we're shooting for that 3, I obviously put the right amount of chicken in, and this is the perfect amount of food for me. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. We're gonna get this hoodie off, and I'm gonna go enjoy this meal thoroughly before I absolutely burn to death. So anyway, I appreciate all of you stopping by. We have 3 more videos that are going to be coming out this week until we take another break for the graveyard shift. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you coming out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!